All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Healthy Reset for another episode of discussing menopausal changes. And tonight we're diving into a live Q&A session where I'm going to ask our participants to give us their questions and share their concerns or any misconceptions, frustrations, challenges, or fears they're facing um, with dealing with menopause. So, but before we start out, I'd like to start out by, sorry, I'm trying to find my record button, which is, all right. So before we start out, I would like to give a little rendition about, as one of the things that's been bothering me for a while, about what am I doing here helping women with menopause? So as I want to start off, I'm Dr. Z, and I'm here to help. And so as I was saying earlier, some of you may be wondering, what does this guy have to do with menopause? And here it is. And this wondering might be coming from the fact that what does a guy have to do with menopause and women's health? He's never going to go through any of this stuff. So what is he doing? So here is a little bit of my story and why I ended up here. This is a journey that comes full circle for me. Imagine growing up in a house with four sisters, my mom having 16 aunts. Yes, I was the only boy in my family. The only other male in my household was my dad. Today, I help women navigate menopause and reduce the burnout of menopause, and it all started with those very early years. Every month, like clockwork, my dad would wake me up and we'd leave at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning and we'd head out the house and spend the entire day together. My dad, a salesman, would drive us to a remote area in Guyana called Mahaika, where he had many clients. Those 2 hour drives were special, just me and my dad getting to spend time together. I didn't realize at the time, but those trips were to escape the monthly chaos at home when my mom and sisters all had their periods at the same time. It was my first immersion into the world of women's health. In university, I always gravitated towards female friends, probably seeking the familiar. So fast forward now. While working with Nurse Maria, the co-founder of the White Rose community, I realized the importance of addressing stress and burnout. Maria's impressive transformative journey, particularly her 43-pound weight loss while managing her menopause, highlighted the power of mindset shifts. Inspired by her story, we created a comprehensive menopause course and this menopause program called the White Rose Community. Combining my expertise in nutrition, exercise, and stress management with Maria's expertise in gynecological knowledge, we started the White Rose Community. This initiative allowed me to fulfill my purpose, helping women achieve their healthiest lifestyles. Reflecting on my journey, I see that growing up surrounded by women, navigating the chaos of hormonal changes, and now helping women through menopause was my calling. From my childhood days in a house full of estrogen to my current role in women's health, my life has come full circle. Today, I use my expertise and experience to make a positive impact on the lives of women, helping them navigate one of the most challenging phases of their lives, menopause, with grace and confidence. So I just wanted to share that little bit about why I am a part of this community. Because this question has been raised not only by the persons who I work with in our community, but by a few other women on the outside going, why are you doing this? Right? So that's how I am involved in the community. So my expertise in health, nutrition, and exercise is very important for menopause change. And in our Q&A tonight, I hope we can address some of the reasons for that importance. So let's open the floor. Does anybody have any questions at this point about menopause, or any queries or concerns, anything at all? Can you toss it out there? And I know Maria's not here, but I will try to answer them as best as possible. Just raise your hand if you have any questions. All right, so no questions. So I created a list of questions that are frequently asked questions from my searches online and from what we've learned in this community from women. And here are some of the questions I came up with. Now, anybody chime in if anything comes to mind while I'm chatting, and we'll go to your question and then come back to the list if necessary, as necessary. All right. So, first question: is menopause the same as perimenopause? And the answer is no. Perimenopause is a transitional period leading up to menopause, characterized by changes in the menstrual cycle and symptoms like hot flashes. Menopause is defined as the point when a woman has not had a menstrual period for 12 consecutive months. Now, I just wanted to clarify that. So menopause is when you have no more periods for 12 consecutive months. Now, this could be referred to when all of this is ended, is referred to as the postmenopause period, but technically that is the menopause period. Perimenopause is a period where you're going through all the hot flashes, the weight gain, the brain fog, anxiety, depression, all those things are during the perimenopause period, right? And that itself can last anything from 6 to 10 years, with some women having no symptoms whatsoever, while other women have all the symptoms, right? And for that, we have created in the community a diagnostic document where you can go through. It's a simple questionnaire of 25 questions where you can score yourselves on the symptoms to recognize whether you are in perimenopause or not. And that questionnaire comes with a few things on it and suggestions of what next you should do. And we will share that questionnaire within the next few days. All right. Does menopause always start at the age of 50? The next question. Now, we've mentioned this before, that menopause can start anywhere between the ages of 40 to up to 58, with the average age of menopause. This is when all the symptoms have stopped and you've gone for 12 consecutive months without a period, right? But the average age for women are usually about 51 years old. And in the Caribbean, it ranges between 51 to 53, right? But another thing to be clear, menopause can start as early as a woman's 30s and can perimenopause. That's a period where all your symptoms are happening, and that can last until she could be well into her 60s, right? Now, that has happened before, right? And that's a perimenopause period. Karen, did you have a question? I see you took yourself off mute. All right, so carrying on. Is weight gain inevitable during menopause? And the answer is no again. Weight gain is not inevitable, but the hormonal changes can make it easier to gain weight, especially around the abdomen, right? So lifestyle factors such as diet and exercise play a significant role. So you can avoid weight gain by doing something like our course on the healthy weight recipe, which goes through 7 weeks of all the things you need to do to avoid weight gain during menopause. right? Which is looking at your nutritional habits, your nutrition, and exercise habits that you can implement to avoid that part. Also, exercise and shifting your nutrition can have a great impact on your menopausal symptoms, right? So, to be clear, 1 second, I just need to turn off my camera for a moment. So to be clear, if you take something like our healthy weight recipe program, and we'll launch it on the website fairly soon, that can help you to avoid the weight gain that will happen with the slowing of metabolism, right? And some of the foods suggested there contain things called estrogens, which help you to replace some of the estrogen loss and reduce the impact of the menopausal symptoms. Now a question, does menopause decrease your sexual drive, sexual desire? It can, but not for all women. Hormonal changes can affect libido, but other factors like stress, relationship issues, and overall health also play a role. Things like diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease can affect your libido also. But there's two sides to this. Some women do experience a decrease in libido, while some women have an increase in libido, which can happen, right? Are hot flashes the only menopause symptom? No. Hot flashes are common, but are not the only symptom. And when you go through our symptom checklist, you will see how many symptoms there are and whether you're having any of them. Some of the symptoms you'll see in the symptom checklist can mimic other things or maybe misunderstood as being for something else, like having joint pains and muscle pains might be linked. You might think it's just arthritis or just an injury from your younger days, but those could be menopausal symptoms, right? Can menopause affect mental health? Yes, menopause can in fact affect mental health, leading to mood swings, anxiety, and depression. And in some cases, they're due to the hormonal fluctuations. Is menopause the end of fertility? Yes. After the 12 months of no period, a woman goes naturally from is the end of natural fertility as ovulation stops. So women, but you can still get pregnant during the perimenopause period. This is when you're having the symptoms and your period hasn't stopped. All right. Are there any natural remedies effective in managing menopause symptoms? So I'm going to put this question on hold for a second. I want to come back to it because I have a whole list of things that we can show as natural remedies. And if you go on the website, you will see a pop-up that gives you 9 supplements that you can use as natural remedies for replacing menopause. And we are currently working in the White Rose community to bring in these supplements in and have them available for purchase through the White Rose community or order through us. Right. So next one, can exercise help alleviate menopause symptoms? Yes, very much so. Regular exercise can help with managing weight, improve mood, reduce stress, and alleviate the symptoms like hot flashes and sleep disturbances. And I want to expand a little bit on this exercise part because this is my area of expertise. Exercise is defined by 3 types of exercise: mild, moderate, and severe. Now, severe, we'll start with that one, is things like HIIT, Zumba, skipping, running at a brisk pace, riding a bicycle at a brisk pace. Those are called high-intensity exercises. The moderate exercise is going for a jog, walking faster, going for a slow swim, riding your bicycle. Those are considered moderate activity exercises. And mild exercises are things that are just walking down the street, walking upstairs, and so on. Those are everyday movement is considered mild exercise. Difference between it. Mild and moderate exercise, you can talk to somebody while exercising. High intensity is hard to talk. So when you know when you're doing high intensity, your heart rate is up and it's difficult to keep your breath and talk to somebody at the same time. The thing about exercise is you need 150 minutes a week of exercise. And here's a very simple way to implement that. If you were to do 10 minutes of any exercise, any moderate activity exercise where your heart rate go up and you still can talk to somebody, 10 minutes every morning, 5 days a week, that is 50 minutes of exercise. Now, if you were to repeat that 10 minutes in the evening, you've just made 100 minutes of the recommended 150 minutes of exercise. Now, if you were to add in HIIT exercise or high intensity exercises 2 days a week, right? For just about 15 to 20 minutes. That's an extra 30 to 40 minutes of exercise. Now, from just exercising twice a day for 10 minutes, which I'm sure you can fit into your busy schedules, you could now have exercise for 140 minutes a week. And all you have to do is do a little bit of high intensity work. And high intensity work can be very simple things. It can be running upstairs, going for a jog, getting on a bicycle and riding a little harder, or on a stationary bike, going for a swim, right? Getting a skipping rope and doing skips, right? High intensity yoga. Yes, there is such a thing, right? Just for 15 to 20 minutes, a little bit more than the 10 minutes in the morning and the evening. So exercise is very simple to implement, and you see how easy it is to get to 140 minutes a week, making close to what the recommended exercise is, right? Right. So that covers exercise, right? Now, one of the next questions come up. Do menopausal symptoms last forever? The answer is no. Once you reach that 12 weeks, the 12 months of no menstrual cycle, your symptoms and the estrogen levels drop completely. Your symptoms completely resolve, right? And there's no more hot flashes, night sweats, uh, afterwards. Now, is there a link between menopause and osteoporosis? Yes. Decreased estrogen leads to a reduction in bone density because of the deposition of magnesium and calcium in the bones. So to do this, you need to supplement and do more exercise to keep the bones strong. Can so next one. Are mood swings a normal part of menopause? Yes, hormonal changes do cause changes, mood swings, irritability, and anxiety, right? But severe and persistent mood changes can be related to something else like depression, um, or some other psychological problems that you may need to seek counseling from a psychologist or a psychiatrist, right? Now, that's making sure that you get evaluated first and make sure it's not related just to the menopause alone. Does menopause increase your risk of heart disease? Yes. Heart disease risk does go up because of the lower estrogen, which causes changes in cholesterol and aging-related factors. Again, exercise and nutrition changes can decrease the impact of the possibility of heart disease with those two implements. Can it cause hair loss or changes in hair texture? Yes. Maria was commenting that she did have hair loss during her period, during her menopausal phase, right? And she has done a few things to reduce that. And we're going to build a little package for you guys to show you how you can use different hair treatments to help to reduce the impact of hair loss or the changes in hair texture, right? So now, one of the questions is, all right, let's scroll down a little bit. All right. One sec, I wanted to get into the question the topic I mentioned earlier with nutrition. So here's the question. Do all women need medical treatment during menopause? Now, the answer is no. Not all women need medical treatment during menopause. The experience by menopause can vary widely from woman to woman. While some may have severe symptoms, and if you take our symptom tracker, you can figure out whether you have mild, moderate, or severe symptoms. Um, some have, these severe symptoms can affect quality of life and require mild medical intervention. And an example of this, we had a chat with a woman a few weeks ago who was saying her symptoms were so severe that she could barely leave her house. And she had no idea what to do with very little information available to her to figure out what to do, right? And it was not until she finally figured out it was menopause, which took almost a year to do, that she finally started finding information that could help her reverse it, where she used um, a few natural herbal remedies, and then she was able to start reduce the symptoms a little bit. But it took a lot of time for her. She took almost 3 months to figure out what was going to work for her. And this is what we're trying to do in our White Rose community, is to save you all the time of having to hunt down these remedies and have them available to you in a recommended doses, and with your, depending on your symptoms and with our evaluations of you, recommend the most effective care that you can achieve. For those with severe symptoms, medical treatment such as hormone replacement therapy may be beneficial, but it's important to discuss the risks and benefits with your healthcare provider. Now, hormone replacement therapy has changed quite significantly from what it used to be in the past to what it is today. We had a session on Saturday at a church where the pastor's wife was telling us when her mom went on hormone replacement therapy for menopause, she got angry. This was a different person. She said she was snapping at her, she was being angry, she was being aggressive while being on hormone replacement therapy. And her mom started to recognize her actions and took herself off of it. And that's when all the symptoms went away. But there are alternatives to hormone replacement therapy. It doesn't mean that you may not still need to do HRT or hormone replacement therapy, but we can, at a White Rose community, we'll try to guide you through and see how well we can build a cocktail of supplements you can take that can help you to reduce the impact of the reduction in hormones. So let's get into a little bit of that tonight. And why are we doing this? Because it's a Q&A session. I wanted to just hit on a few topics that may be of interest to you all. As I said, we have a pop-up on their website that you can go and download 9 supplements that you can take to help to replace these things, right? So here's a quick overview of some of the hormone replacements you can use. Phytoestrogens, right? They can be found in soy and flaxseed. Okay, they also can be found in legumes, right? In high quantities, right? Soy comes from legumes, right? So there's another herb you could use is called the black kush, right? And this reduces hot flashes and night sweats. Red clover is also another source of phytoestrogen for reducing hot flashes. Don Quai, right, is a traditional Chinese medicine that's used for balancing hormones and alleviating symptoms. Evening primrose has gamma linolenic acid in it, and it's also very good for reducing hot flashes and breast pain. Ginseng is great for mood, sleep, and overall well-being. Ginkgo biloba is also very good for this. Valerian root improves sleep quality and reduces anxiety. And of course, as mentioned earlier, we want to mention the lifestyle changes, things like diet, exercise, and stress management. And we're going to be implementing all of those things in the White Rose community over the next few months. Adequate sleep is very important, and we'll go through. Somebody was mentioning that her mom, one of her teammates was mentioning her mom is struggling with sleep. So right now, me and Marie are working on creating a sleep hygiene package that will show you all the things you need to do to improve sleep, so that during menopause you can get a better night's rest. And lastly, the last two things we want to mention is vitamins and supplements. We've mentioned magnesium and how useful it could be. Vitamin D and calcium also great for bone health. B vitamins, and of course omega fatty acids, especially omega-3, which can be found in fish oil, flaxseed oil, and in fish, or any fish as a whole, which we are surrounded by in the Caribbean, right? Then the last thing we want to mention is hydration and skincare. And we want to bring on a few skin experts, and we'll bring in some skincare products that can help to reduce the aging process and make it more transition much easier, right? Drinking lots of water is very important to skincare. We live in a very hot climate in the Caribbean, and we tend to be dehydrated most of the day. So improving your fluid intake is highly important, and that's easily done by walking around with just a simple bottle of water in your hand. Now, I don't recommend carrying the big 2-liter bottles of water. Those are heavy, right? You tend to leave them on tables. But if you're carrying a little 500 ml bottle of water, which is a standard size, right? That's easy to carry around. And when you carry it with you all day, you tend to sip. And by you notice by over a period of time, within a couple of hours, you finish one bottle, onto a second bottle of water. That's how we stay hydrated. The little smaller bottles, I don't recommend those because you have to keep refilling them, and that can become monotonous and annoying. But just having water is there. Now, water is not the only hydration liquid. Teas, um, uh, uh, watered down juices or natural juices, coconut water, soda water, those are all good for hydration. Coffee, but coffee can be a diuretic and can cause you to dehydrate a little bit, right? But decaffeinated teas are very good for that. So if you're into teas, yes, drink as much as you want, right? So those are a few of the questions that I've come up with about menopause that I wanted to just answer on this session. Now, does anybody have any questions at this point in time? I'll open the floor for anyone who wants to ask that. Yes, Denise, go ahead. Let me find you on the list.
I must say good night to everyone. And you hearing me?
Yes, quite clearly.
Yeah. And getting all this information and hearing all this tonight is doing something to me because in 2018 I had a surgery. And before that surgery, 3 years before, I've stopped seeing my period. And being having that surgery at the age of 53, I never used nothing, no hormone replacement or nothing. And these days I find I'm sweating a lot, so I'm now realizing if I am now going through my menopause stage with all this sweating, like these I have to be walking around with a rag. So hearing all this information, seeing that I never use anything to replace after that surgery, what is the best advice you will give me on that?
So you had a hysterectomy, Denise?
Yes, in 2018.
Did they tell you if they spared the ovaries or if they took them
No,
out?
everything came out.
Okay. So then you would have gone into what is called rapid menopause after the surgery, which would have been an overwhelming period where, so I'm wondering if they actually left the ovaries in. Um, and yeah, I'm wondering if you actually left the ovaries in, right?
Because in 1992, topics. I had a topic surgery. And then with this surgery, they said they took everything out. They took out everything.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. If they removed everything, you would have gone into menopause immediately. Um,
But
so
3 years before that, I wasn't seeing any period.
uh yeah, what I would like to suggest, Denise, is we are working on getting the clinic set up this week. What I'd like to use for you to suggest is come into the clinic and let's do a few of the blood tests to see where you are in your hormonal levels. And we can confirm whether it is menopause that you're going through or if it's something else, right? Because if they remove the ovaries, then you should have gone straight into menopause, right? And not having any symptoms right now. So I'm curious as to know whether they did or they left the ovaries in. No, many times they leave the ovaries in because they don't want to push a woman directly into menopause because it's very uncomfortable and it can be very uh extremely uncomfortable for the woman because you literally go from one day being okay with hormones and next day not having any, right? So I'm suspicious that they left the ovaries in, and that's why you might be going through the perimenopausal symptoms now. But come into our clinic. We'll send you I'll send you the link and set everything. We'll book an appointment. Come in and let's do some blood tests and check you out and see where you are.
Okay. Okay. Thanks in advance.
No problem. Any other questions? There's nothing on anybody's mind that they're considering when it comes to menopause and the transition that you go through, any challenges you're facing. Um, well, if there are no more questions, I would like to close off this session. I know it's closing a little early. Um, so I will end up closing off the session a little early. And we have a few things, so a few announcements. First off, we're working very hard this week to get a clinic up and running. So by next week, we can start bringing in women to start doing their breast examinations and pap smears. These are going to be done by Nurse Maria herself. She's an expert and excellent at doing these, right? We're also going to offer the medical evaluations to make sure and the blood tests you need to confirm whether you are in menopause and once you and if it's any other underlying conditions that need to be addressed. When we open a clinic, we're offering the first 10 women to join the clinic a free breast examination with your pap smear, again performed by Nurse Maria, right? A comprehensive medical breast examination, right? For the first 10 women, we'll have the notices up in the WhatsApp group. If you haven't joined already, please join the group. I will share the link here in a moment. The link is also on the YouTube channel. So you can get the link from there. Hang on. All right, the link is in the chat. So for all announcements, you can come in the chat and get the announcements in there. This chat is set up to make only to give out announcements. We don't usually have a lot of chatter in there, right? So I understand that many people are in many groups and that can become a little overwhelming, right? And we every Sunday as usual we're doing a walk up Mount St. Benedict's. We start at the Parks House. Come join us. We usually start around 6 a.m. It's a nice pleasant walk. We don't go particularly fast. You don't have to worry. We go at our own pace, and it's just an excellent way to start a week, get some energy, some exercise in, and get ready for an awesome start to the week. And yeah, that's it for now. So the clinic will be up and running next week. We'll have a few things up in the chat and of updates that are going on in the community. So join us, and we hope to see you in the clinic and hope to see you on the hike on Sunday. That's it for this evening. Everyone have an awesome evening. I hope you found this information informative. And I hope I answered some of your questions. All right. Good night, everyone. Liz, do you have anything to add? I saw you took off your mic before we go.
Doctor, good night, everyone. I just wanted to find out if you would have your supplements there in the clinic for sale also. Will it start around that same time when the clinic has started? Will the sale of the supplements start that time?
Well, yes, I'm glad you suggested it. It was something that I have on my list for this week of things to get sorted out. Yes, we will try to have the supplements available from the opening day to the clinic, so you can purchase them from us. If and we don't know what mishaps may happen, so don't hold me too tightly to that, but we will make a very, very strong effort to have all that stuff in place, and if and have so we can support you in that. Yeah.
Okay, Doc. Would you still would Nurse Maria be still having some sort of a I know she mentioned earlier on in some session that we had that she is going to talk about the hair loss. So I'm studying going forward if she would still be doing that, and if you would also have supplements that we can use for the hair.
Yes, I will talk to her about it. She has a list of things that she was using herself that has made a great impact on her hair loss and stopping it. I will talk to her during the week, and that's yeah, we're bringing all of that stuff into the clinic so you can have it. We will do the hair loss presentation at the end of this month. But yes, we'll do the hair loss presentation next end of this month. So yes, we'll have all that stuff in the clinic. If not by next week with the hair loss stuff, but be within this month, all that stuff will come available and on board.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think, sorry,
Yes. Go ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
Doctor, do you think using something internally is more effective for the hair loss rather than using it externally? What is your opinion on that, Doctor?
I don't think there's anything you could use internally to prevent the hair loss. Right? It's mostly coming, okay. It's mostly coming from the decrease in estrogen that's really affecting the ability of the hair to stay attached. It's like men who have hair loss, like myself, is based on a testosterone thing that came from the mother's side of the family, right? It's high levels of testosterone causes the hair at the top of the head to get lost. Interestingly, the sides grow, but the top doesn't, right? And when they've realized what they do to implants, where they remove it from the side and put it at the top, those hair over a period of time fall out anyway, right? So it's not as impactful, right? So with, I think the topical stuff will be much more effective in maintaining the hair that's there. The another thing is when we looked at hair loss in women who are going through menopause, there's not a lot of information on why that hair loss really occurs. So a lot of it is speculation. So the supplements that Maria recommends is estrogen-based stuff that helps to maintain the estrogen in the skin itself, that helps to reduce the hair loss. And once you stabilize, that doesn't happen anymore. Right. So is that shift in the hormonal levels that's causing it? So what the topical stuff, it just keeps that the skin itself with the estrogen it needs to keep the hair intact and be able to be useful.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Well, I think that's it for tonight. Nicole, if you have nothing else to add. Anybody else has anything to add or they'd like to share? Well, if that's it for this evening, Everyone have a pleasant evening. Next week, Tuesday, we have a guest speaker, Pamela Cohen. I'm gonna post what she's talking on over in the next couple of days. Look out for it in your email and on the WhatsApp group. Join the WhatsApp group, as I said. You could also I also posted the link to the website. I'll post it again. And we have a lot of things happening in the next few months that to keep you informed. So join us, and we will continue to support and encourage you through the menopause change. Have a pleasant evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday or on Sunday. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
You're welcome.